Interface Video presents Fairhope Hospice Today. Brought to you by Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Fairhope Hospice Today. I'm Kristin, President and CEO of Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, home of the Pickering House. Today we are coming to you live from our AIM clinic on East Main Street. So today's a pretty special day, and we wanted to share with you as we celebrate our AIM clinic being open for 1 year. So I have some really special guests with me here today, and I'd like to start out this segment with couple of our friends from Palliative. So I'm going to allow them to do their introductions here.
My name's Alicia Grilliot. I'm a nurse practitioner with the palliative care team, and I've been with Fairhope now for 8 years.
I'm Dr. Barbara Singer, and I also get to play a role here at the palliative clinic, which is delightful. And I've been at Fairhope for about 14 years.
14 years. And your primary role up until this point has really been with hospice. And so we've been really grateful and thankful that you've been able to really help guide us here at the clinic and help manage some of the palliative patients that we're seeing here. So we're thankful for that. Okay, so we have been open for a year, and I just want to talk a little bit about what that means, because palliative has really been around for many, many years with Fairhope. Mm-hmm. When you started, has it been 9 years? 8 years? Mm-hmm. Palliative looked very different. So yes, it did. So we've come a long way. So this celebration in the clinic that's open now is really a celebration. Can you kind of talk just a little bit about what that means to you, to see where you started? We were up at the Nita M. Turner Center, sort of in the basement. I think you guys had one room
for 3 people.
Yes.
Crowded in a small little area, taking care of people. And I think we started when I first started with 50 individuals we were helping to care for. And then as we grew, we got to grow into a different office, a little bit more staff members. And to be able to now have 1 year in our office here at the clinic has been amazing, because we've been able to reach out to so many more people. Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's been a lot of hard work for you and your team, and we're going to introduce some of your other teammates here shortly, but it's been a lot of hard work. The clinic is new to our community, so I think we're still trying to help them understand what we do here and the purpose of the clinic. But you guys have worked hard, and so you deserve this celebration of really being able to serve patients in a whole different capacity for over the past year. So can we start just a little bit, maybe Dr. Singer, by talking about the difference between palliative and hospice?
Well, hospice is a moment where people are looking for different hopes and dreams, because they're no longer seeking aggressive measures. They're gently wanting to be carried through with quality of life the end stages of a disease. Palliative care is also our most unwell people in the community, who are still perhaps seeking more aggressive medical interventions, seeking different ideas at that point, not ready to step aside into different dreams and hopes, their quality of life. So they're similar but different. And we're here to help many of the symptoms, the shortness of breath, the pain, the emotional symptoms of advanced illnesses. And we aren't quite the same as hospice. Hospice infers a 6-month or less likely lifespan. Of course, it often exceeds that or is shorter than that, depending on each individual and their disease. But here at AIM, we help people who are still with an indeterminate or less determinate lifespan, seeking comfort and logistical help with their advanced illness. For example, we have a patient whose disease progressed rapidly and he lost his ability to walk overnight. And so our social worker was able to step up to the plate immediately and get him the evaluations he needed. And he will have very appropriate rehabilitation plans in place now that would have taken so much more through a different system that doesn't have on-call social work, capable nurse practitioners, the whole 9 yards of coverage. We still need primary care. These are patients who need their medications cared for. They need their specialists, their cardiologists, their oncologists, their pulmonologists, but we are also a specialty. How do you live the best quality of life as those other individuals are helping with your disease management? We need the whole team, and we're a significant part of the team.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the key points that you had mentioned when you were talking about that individual is we did all of this without going to the hospital. We were able to keep that individual at home and get the appropriate rehab and escalate the rehab when it was the right time, instead of being forced to go into a hospital setting.
Absolutely. And keeping people from going back repeatedly after less than fruitful visits to the hospital, but comfortable in managing that symptom. I went to the hospital because I was short of breath. Well, here's what we can do because you're short of breath.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great, because my next question was, well, what is the actual purpose of the clinic? And I think you explained that, perfectly. A lot of the patients I think that you guys see are still, they're working, they're traveling, they're living their life day to day. And so when you can do exactly what you just did and keep them out of the hospital by seeing them here, talking them through a crisis, that allows them to continue with their everyday life goals and quality of life. So that really answers my question of what is the purpose of having our AIM clinic here. So, I think you guys do a lot of work at Fairfield Medical Center, the nurse practitioners do, and we consider what you do here and at the hospital is really a specialized service, just like the oncology and the pulmonologist and all those specialists. But what kind of impact do you hope to have on your patients, for, like we talked about, their quality of life, their continuity of care? Because what you do is a specialized service, and you have to work pretty closely with those other physicians.
So the really unique position that we are in is we get to meet people wherever they are in the journey of their life and sit down with them in a situation that's not high pressure, where we can discuss where things were in their life 6 months ago or a year ago, where they are now, and what we expect in the road coming up. And that allows us to look at their life as a whole instead of just one snapshot of one 10-15 minute visit in an office. We are here to go through that entire journey, and it really gives us an opportunity to focus on the highest needs of the person. Sometimes it's just as simple as talking about what all that medical language means and how does it translate into my vocabulary, and being able to meet them along that journey to help guide them where it is their desired destination.
I think one of the words that you're explaining there are their goals. What are their goals? I think that's so important. And I think sometimes what we see, when someone signs on to hospice, we have that whole holistic care. Everything they need is right there, kind of under one umbrella. I think sometimes with palliative care, there are so many different pieces, and it's really hard to connect those pieces to the puzzle. Maybe like you said, they have food insecurities, they need physical therapy, they need equipment, but then they have to see lots of different specialists. And sometimes I think that continuity, it's like there's a piece missing in the puzzle. So I know that you guys work really hard every day to communicate and speak with the other physicians that are involved in their care. How do you guys manage that? That feels like a lot as I say that. I'm sure it's a lot for you guys to do.
For sure, keeping the patient at the center of our care is the number one priority, and having the entire team work toward the goal of whatever is the best situation for them. I spent yesterday on the phone with several specialists communicating our concerns and their concerns to get the best outcome for our patients. So we get to work together with the primary care providers and specialists in the community. We see them out and about, we call them, we are involved.
Yeah, it's a lot of good teamwork. Okay, so I want to take a pause here and we're going to introduce some of our other team members. But if you have questions, if you'd like to be seen here at the palliative clinic, or you just have questions about what this is all about, please give us a call at 740-808-8039. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. It is so important for families to feel comfortable and safe when they call, because oftentimes that first phone call, even picking up the phone physically and just dialing that number, is very hard. You're asking for something that is a very difficult and private decision, and so we want everyone to feel comfortable and safe that you pick up that phone, you make that phone call, and let us just guide you and lead you where you want. And then you can make an informed decision about what's best for you and your family.
If you've been thinking about getting a home loan, now is the time. Hi, this is Carrie James from Fairfield Federal. Our experienced lenders are here to help you make your vision a reality. For more than 125 years, we've been helping our community achieve homeownership. Fairfield Federal has convenient online application for your home loan, home equity loan, and home equity line of credit needs. Visit fairfieldfederal.com to get started. Fairfield Federal for checking, savings, and home loans. Data charges may apply, subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 402612.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Managing your health can feel scary, but you are not alone. At Fairfield Medical Center, our network of healthcare professionals and compassionate caregivers are focused on one thing: supporting you. From primary care to specialty procedures and rehabilitation, we offer the resources you need to lead the life you love. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
Did you know Fairfield DD provides coordination for over 1,200 people in Fairfield County? That's 1,200 unique journeys, each filled with talents, dreams, and challenges. And while no two paths are the same, one thing is true for everyone. Life is easier when you have the right support. That's why we're here. From early childhood milestones to school transitions, employment, and adulthood, Fairfield DD connects individuals and families with the resources they need every step of the way. When the right support is available, a vibrant community where people lead lives of greater independence and make meaningful contributions becomes possible. Learn more at fairfielddd.com and check us out on social media. Together, we're building a more inclusive Fairfield County.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristin and welcome back to Fairhope Hospice Today. In today's special segment for us, we are here at our AIM clinic on East Main Street, and we're celebrating our opening. We've been open for 1 year here at the clinic, and so today I have some really special guests with me. I want to introduce you to a couple more of our nurse practitioners, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Becky Tasch. I'm one of the palliative nurse practitioners, and I've been here for a little over 2 years.
I am Jean Forson. I'm a nurse practitioner here with the clinic. My history with Fairhope, I've been with them for 10 years. During that time, it was over on the hospice side. But now I do community visits, so I come to your home and to Fairfield and the surrounding counties to do my visits.
So you two play just a little different role than some of the other nurse practitioners. You still do all the same things that they do, but Jean, I think it's kind of cool because you and I worked together before I took this role and before you took this role. at Fairhope, and so you have a great handle on what hospice looks like. And so I think now being a nurse practitioner and working on the palliative side, how has that been sort of a benefit for you to experience all the hospice side? Now you're at it from really a different picture, a different lens.
I think it's real important to have the hospice background to help people with their disease process. With my experience, you see what the disease and you know what's coming. So it's good for the palliative time to kind of prepare everyone, see what their goals are, and if they want hospice. Some, they want to do all they can and not stop and not do the hospice route, which is fine. That's their journey, but we are here just to help along the way best we can.
And your role in the palliative program is a little different. So we see patients not only here at the clinic, and that's really the goal, is because a lot of the palliative patients that we care for are active. Like we talked about earlier in the other segment, they're active, they're working, they're traveling, they're doing a lot of things. But some of those are really debilitated. And so you see patients in their home. So when you get a really good picture of their whole situation, and then are you able to, when it's appropriate, to kind of talk with them about what those next steps are? You've seen them on palliative for a while, but as they become more debilitated, then you have those conversations?
Yeah, and it's important to have these conversations. That way, so you can prepare them. And unfortunately, you see the decline. Sometimes the family members don't see this decline because they're with them all the time. So when you're coming in and out, you can see changes, and it's good to bring up those changes and say, hey, have you noticed this and that? And that kind of takes you down the path of possible hospice.
So Becky, you have a different role as well. So you do a little bit of everything. We just ask you to do a lot of different things. So sometimes you're at the hospital helping the other nurse practitioners, but you do something that's called a face-to-face. And so you help really with the hospice patients, looking at them to make sure that they are, to recertify, as we call it, that they're still appropriate for hospice. But you also do a lot of work here at the clinic, admitting patients in the community, and then at the hospital. Can you tell us a little bit about your revolving role?
Yeah, I try to help out wherever I'm needed, but one of my particular roles has been taking over what we call the face-to-face visits, also known as recertification visits. So as Dr. Singer mentioned, hospice is for patients with an estimated prognosis of about 6 months or less. At times we have patients outlive that 6 months, and that's fine. That doesn't mean they have to come off hospice, but at that point we go in and reevaluate them, make sure we are still seeing decline, that they're still meeting eligibility criteria, so that we can continue those services if those are appropriate. On rare occasions, we do have patients who have improved and maybe their disease has stabilized for a while and they graduate from hospice for a time. So that's the purpose of those visits. Okay. I do think it is unique that I get to play all these roles because we do serve our community in a variety of ways. So whether that's at the hospital, in the home, in the clinic, or palliative versus hospice, I think it's been a real benefit to have all these different venues where we can serve our community.
Yeah, you two are like puzzle pieces again. You're sort of that puzzle piece between palliative and hospice, but then also just really helping the other nurse practitioners kind of coordinate care and stay on top of those patients. So is palliative something that you ever thought you would be involved in? Did you know when you were going to become an NP? Was palliative on your mind? I mean, how did you get to this point?
I honestly thought I might do it at some point in my career. I always had an interest in it in the back of my mind, and then just surprisingly an opportunity came up for me to do palliative a little bit sooner, and I jumped on it and I've been with it ever since.
Good. Jean, you've kind of always been in that little realm of hospice, so what made you come?
Yeah, my love is hospice care. So I spent 10 years with Fairhope on the hospice side, went back to school, and then I came back as a nurse practitioner to continue to help. it's a great company. That's where I wanted to be. So
Well, we're glad you're here and back.
thank you.
Okay, we're not letting you off the hook this easily. So we're talking a lot about work, but someone's shouting from behind here. What's a fun fact? What do you guys do when you're not working as nurse practitioners? What do you love to do when you're not working as nurse practitioners?
At the moment, I mean, I have a 1.5-year-old daughter, so we do a lot of fun activities like going to the zoo or just reading lots of books, going for walks.
Okay.
So that takes up the bulk of my free time, of course.
Good.
I think most parents feel similarly, especially when they have littles, but
Yes.
Being outdoors is just a fun thing for us.
Good. Jean?
Yeah, I like to go out walking. I like to see different parks, just explore new areas. So.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being with us today. We are going to take a minute here and rejoin with our Dr. Singer and Alicia. If you have any questions about the AIM Clinic or palliative care, please call us at 740-808-8039. Stay tuned. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Fairhope Hospice today. This is our final segment. We've had a really good time today talking just a little bit about all things palliative, our AIM clinic, Advanced Illness Management Clinic here on Main Street. And so I wanted to kind of wrap up and finish by giving you some information, a little bit more information about how to get a hold of us, what that process looks like, and want to talk just a little bit more about what we do here at the clinic. So if there is someone that's watching today, and what do they need to do? How do they know when the right time is to call the clinic, get a palliative referral, and then how do we go about that?
So if there's ever any question, I always just say call us. We can talk about what the program is, what it could do for that individual. But typically those who we are serving have a chronic illness, something that's going to be with them for a long time. And we're really focusing on managing the symptom burden that comes along with that.
So when you talk about a chronic illness, that is something that we know can't be cured, but it could be with them for a long time. Okay.
Sometimes these chronic illnesses will hang around with us for 20 or 30 years. And it may not have been a big deal at the beginning, but as time goes on and symptoms build up, then it becomes more of a burden to their life and impacts their quality.
Okay. Dr. Singer, can we talk just a little bit about what kind of symptoms we may manage here and what symptoms come with a chronic illness?
Okay. So obviously we still need their primary care and their specialists involved because many of their symptoms are related to their initial disease, but sometimes even the medications or the therapies cause side effects or the disease itself, like suppose suddenly you start throwing up and you can't stop. Well, we have a 24-hour line. We can help with that. We can do things to help manage, or nausea, things that really undermine your quality of that day, but also potentially a month or two or years. If you're not nauseous, your quality of life is going to be so much better. If your shortness of breath is managed, or if your disease has progressed where your protein is low, so you suddenly start getting swelling, well, that's partially your primary care, but if it's really getting out of hand too, and it's a weekend, we have on call, or we have really good common sense and medical input to add to swelling. Suppose that's contributing to your pain. Well, resolving that's going to make your pain less. Suppose you are being treated for pain. Well, you may have nausea and constipation. Suppose you are short of breath. What do we do with that? Because there's so many causes of shortness of breath, and we see that very commonly as diseases progress. These are a few of the symptoms. How about fatigue? How are you adjusting to that in your life as your abilities reduce and you're leaning more on family? What's happening to you emotionally? Are you in emotional pain too? That's a very real symptom. Practical things in your life, like that gentleman who we kept out of the hospital but got the help he needed without hospitalization, without needles stuck in him, without other interventions that would have been very unpleasant and taken him out of his life. We are here to do all those things, to really change the quality of every day as you journey through conditions that are very difficult to manage. And yes, you still need your specialists. They're often the ones who send you to us because we do support you, but also indirectly them by managing these very difficult things. So that is what we do. And they're often the referrer, but you can call our clinic as well and have those discussions with us. And your primary care doctor can often send you to us to give a little boost to you that you would get from an on-call line, from specialists in nausea, shortness of breath, management of those conditions, and the resources we provide, social work, spiritual care, counseling, grief counseling. How much grief are people who are deeply ill experiencing, and their families? So we're here for all the other things that are so big, that make a disease debilitating and difficult, or retain your quality of life to the best possible extent.
Thank you. That's perfect. And I love the fact that you mentioned the 24/7 call. So when someone is a palliative patient, they have the ability to make a phone call in the middle of night and say, I'm having this, this, or this. And then we have qualified staff on the other end of the line that can guide them and direct them to the best plan of care. But you know, what I think is really, really important too is the fact that all of this that you're talking about really has a lot to do with trust. You know, these patients are so fragile and it's scary and they're in flux a lot of times, but you guys work really hard to build that trust with them. So they're going to call you for support. They're going to lean on you. They're going to hear you when you're talking to them about recommendations, or now is the time for this. So I think trust is really something that you guys have to work to build at every visit.
Absolutely.
So I think we didn't talk very much today about your partnership with Fairfield Medical Center, because we do a lot of good work at Fairfield Medical Center when it comes to palliative support. And that oftentimes can be the kickstarter, the place that people learn about palliative care. So you may spend some time with them at the hospital. Their hospitalist or their specialist have said, hey, I want Fairhope and the AIM clinic to come in and talk with them. Then what happens after that? Maybe they go home and then they start their relationship here at the clinic with you?
Exactly.
Okay.
So once they're discharged from their inpatient stay at the hospital, then we are going to reach out to those individuals and say, hey, do you remember us? We were the part of your team as you were in the hospital for this period of time. We want to make sure that you don't slip through the cracks and you come back to be able to have that symptom management follow you from outside those hospital doors into the community.
Great, great. Okay, so a couple of things. Real quickly, what do you see for the future here at the clinic? What is your vision?
My vision is growth and being able to reach even more people than we have. As we look at our statistics and the number of individuals we've been able to help, we've consistently gone up every month, and I hope that we can continue that trend to be able to reach out to our community to better support them. Improving and nurturing relationships within not only our patients, but our specialists and providers and partners in the community, and our healthcare providers and our other associates like our home health agencies, and just being able to incorporate all of the different factors into the person's life that is necessary.
So important. Do you have a vision for the future?
I just hope that we become increasingly well known among practitioners in our role in supporting their probably most challenging and difficult patients to manage. And that they would help partner with us and actually send patients to us in that partnership, because we have a lot to offer and we need them. And we need them to recognize what we do and let us be a part of their patients' lives too.
Well said, thank you. Okay, I can't let you guys off the hook without giving me, what is your favorite thing to do when you're not working as a physician or a nurse practitioner?
Oh, you go first.
I'm a wilderness adventure person, so be out in the wild places where there are few people and lots of animals and trees and cliffs and things and water. So that's my thing on time off.
I am the manager of the chaotic family life and serve as part-time mom taxi and involvement with the school systems. And so when I leave the work role, I go right into the management role of home too. But you know what? It's such a privilege to be able to be involved in all these things.
It is. All right. Thank you, guys. So thank you for being with us today on this segment. I'm Kristin Glazier, and we were happy to have you here with us today. And thank you for watching Fairhope Hospice Today.
Interface Video presents Fairhope Hospice Today. Brought to you by Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home.